Welcome to day 7 of our 14-day challenge. We are now at the halfway point, which means this is where we really start to move the needle forward a little bit more. And sure enough, today's quote has a little bit more edge to it. So, shall we dive right in? Here it is. No matter what anyone has done, you are the only one responsible for your behavior. Let's start this quote off by saying, ouch. So, this quote starts with a little bit of a stinger. However, this will be so very powerful for you when you really slow things down and consider how you're going to behave when challenges come up. Something that I've said before is that we are surrounded by negative energies all the time, but we're also surrounded by positive ones, and this is about really diving in deep and pulling on those positive energies as much as possible. This is the point where you start staying present to yourself more and more every day. And the way you do that is by consistently asking yourself throughout the day, how do I choose to be? And then it can be followed by the question, do I choose to be negative or positive? If you only give yourself two options here in different scenarios, it will really help you to dig deep, stay focused, and connect to the brilliance that you were born with. Where this quote can become challenging is if you were harmed as a child or have been on the receiving end of abuse. Then this quote could potentially be a bit of a trigger for you. However, I'm going to invite you to consider that as an adult woman, right here, right now, as you move forward, you can now look back differently and truly see those experiences are behind you. And you no longer need to give them any strength by paying attention to them, which means that they can't control you anymore. Let this become the time for you to release the need to have those memories with you in the present. That means they'll no longer have any kind of control over you. So, to help you move forward without the past tap dancing in your present day, you can create a mantra or an affirmation for yourself that sounds something like this: I release the need for self sabotage. I release the need for self criticism. The reason I use the language of the need is because self sabotaging and criticism can end up becoming a safety mechanism for us. And they're a safety mechanism because we know what to expect. And when we know what to expect, even though it's not always positive, we feel safe. So they can really stop us from doing the things that consciously we know that we need to do. By saying those two mantras or affirmations at bedtime, you can easily start waking up in the morning and start feeling more confident. And I'd suggest that you start saying them at night as you start to drift off to sleep, because your subconscious mind will take them in and will help you get stronger and more confident because it's taking in that information. Your subconscious mind is so powerful, and the more you feed it things that will help you, the easier your life will become. So let's go over the quote again before we get on to the next part. No matter what anyone has done, you are the only one responsible for your behavior. Again, whether you see someone doing something or saying something that's inappropriate, take a breath and reframe the experience. Something to consider is that you have no idea what that person went through earlier in the day. And though that is not an excuse for bad behavior, it doesn't make the potential negative thoughts or reactions that come from you any more beneficial. And since you don't have control over anyone else, you need to pay attention to what you do have control over, which is your thoughts and how you choose to behave. Something that's really important to understand is your thoughts and the meaning that you give them creates an emotional response, and then from there, your behavior follows. That means how you're feeling has a direct impact on how you act or behave. The minute you become aware or catch yourself having negative thoughts towards yourself or someone else, take a step back and consider what you can do differently. And the reason I'm saying what you can do differently is because you have some control over yourself. If you allow yourself to pause, take a breath, you'll have the space for yourself to reconsider how you choose to be, knowing that only you have control over it. And you also have the space to reframe the experience, right? It's like considering you don't know what they went through. So here's an experience I want to share with you quickly that I had on Black Friday. And when I went out Friday morning, I did not realize it was Black Friday. I thought it was Friday, and I was just going out to do a few errands. And when I went to the first place, a woman pulled out of the parking lot, squealing her tires really fast, right? And she had children in the car. Now, my automatic response, my habit, went right away to judging her. And then I took a breath and I thought, wait a minute. I don't know what her morning was like. Maybe she had a fight with her partner, maybe something broke or the kids were acting up. Whatever it was, we don't know what's going on in someone else's life. So I took a breath and then I thought, what kind of energy do I want to be experiencing, and what kind of energy can I send her way? So I took a breath and I thought about what she needed. And I thought patience, love, peace, kindness. So I started seeing her in my mind, and I kept saying out loud in the car, I send you patience, love, peace, and kindness. And I kept on saying it for quite a while. So as I was driving to my next destination, I kept on repeating those words. What was interesting was through the process of doing this, I started to feel really, really calm. And even though it was Black Friday, what happened with the rest of my adventure was magical. I ended up at a red light everywhere I went, which meant I wasn't trying to rush around a corner or speed through to get to the other side. I was slowing down and relaxing. The next thing was every place I went, I ended up having a perfect parking space. And again, this was Black Friday. Now, if I had have stayed in judgment and fueled that energy, I more than likely would not have been in a relaxed mood at all. I probably would have been stressed. I probably would have been rushing through the lights to get to the other side. I probably wouldn't have found parking spaces. So the rest of my trip wouldn't have been good. So good behavior does pay off for everyone involved. So, as you step into your day today, pay attention to how you're behaving, not necessarily on how others are behaving. Send yourself some positive thoughts. What can you say to yourself? You can say things like, I am patient. I am kind. I am loving. My heart is filled with happiness. I am surrounded by love. Keep it positive, take responsibility for your behavior, and it's so empowering and it's going to fuel that wholesome goodness that is inside of you. All right, this is the end of the recording for day 7. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day.